This is my post-fight review for Joyce versus Derek Chisora. Was a very, very good fight. It was a war. Derek Chisora came out being aggressive. He was on the back foot. Joyce was aggressive as well. He was looking to go for the knockout the whole entire fight. Didn't have much success early on just because of Chisora's countering ability. He wasn't basically fast as far as his speed because for some reason Chisora was still kind of getting the speed actually wasn't meeting as fast as Joyce's was, which is very surprising. But I feel like his timing was better because he was catching him a lot of times before he can even reach Chisora, and Chisora was throwing those looping right hooks and left hooks, and he was catching Joyce plenty of times throughout the fight. And I think him fighting off the back foot and laterally and moving around, it kind of led Joyce to run into a lot of shots, and that caused a lot of havoc for Chisora throughout the fight. It seemed like he was off balance throughout the fight, but he actually wasn't. He was setting them up with a lot of feints, changing the levels. His defense was very good. He missed a lot of shots that could have easily put him down throughout the fight. So I would say that Chisora used some kind of defensive ability throughout the fight. Joyce did too, but it wasn't. It was more than usual, but it wasn't as much as what Chisora was bringing to the table. Um, he did an excellent job going to the body and trying to cut the ring off so Chisora wouldn't move around as much. But he couldn't do as much when Chisora was throwing those counters. When he was countering, he didn't really come back with much. He kind of took his time to respond to exchange. So I feel like Joyce losing a lot of those exchanges is what caused some problems with him, and that's how he ended up losing on the cards. But with him getting dropped in the ninth round, that hurt him on the cards a lot too, also because Chisora was already being aggressive when he was exchanging with him. Even though he was on the back foot, a lot of times he was still coming forward enough in the fight to where Joyce didn't have a choice but to try to exchange with him, and it didn't work. He jabbed a lot throughout the fight, a lot more than what Chisora did, but Chisora was also jabbing, and he was going to the body and throwing a lot of punches upstairs, and he was catching them with that right hand a lot of times, and Joyce did not have an answer for it. With him getting dropped in the ninth round, that hurt him a lot in the fight. He almost got stopped, but he ended up going 10 rounds and surviving. But Chisora, you gotta give him hats off to him. I felt like he had a chance to come out and fight hard in this fight, just because I knew he had nothing to lose, and also um, the fights he has been knocked out in, they were pretty hard fights, man. It's a long story behind that, but people feel like he was easily gonna get dropped in this fight, KO. Didn't think Joyce was gonna stop Chisora in this fight. Did not. That's one thing that a lot of people. I separated myself from other people when I made a prediction in this fight. I actually wanted to pick Chisora. I actually went with Chisora yesterday, even though in my predictions, I had picked Joyce, but Joyce, I did not pick him to KO Chisora because I didn't think he was good enough to actually KO him. Just because I know Chisora is a very good fighter. It's not easy to get KO'd. He's fought against some of the best heavyweights, so he's run into a couple of situations. But overall, he's not an easy guy to get KO'd. And I think Joyce just didn't bring enough to the table. He should have switched a couple of things up. He was trailing and following a lot too much in this fight, trying to chase after Chisora, and it led to him running into a lot of shots, and it would eventually make him run into a knockdown. And Chisora did an excellent job sticking to the game plan and fighting within his abilities, and not trying to do anything different. And that showed, and Chisora really had no other choice but to go to war with this guy. And at the end of the day, he showed that he's on a different level still, and these guys think that he's a journeyman, but he's way better than what people give him credit for. But Joyce, he still fought hard and give him credit for everything, but Chisora, he's still a man. You know, It's all about war. Everybody knows that, and he has to give his credit after a while. Wins and losses don't make you. It don't make or break you in boxing. But what you bring to the table and how hard you fight, that lasts a lifetime. So I feel like he definitely does a lot for the sport of boxing. He needs his credit. But with him getting a unanimous decision over Joe Joyce, it just goes to show that he still is a good fighter. He can beat anybody on any day, and that's what heavyweight boxing is about. Um, well, that knockdown definitely hurt Joe Joyce, and he had no answers for the counters from Chisora all night. But that's all I got, man. Like and subscribe.